Hi guys, my name is Matt Goodfellow. I'm a poet. I just want to put this video on just to give you guys my philosophy on poetry, what poetry can do for you, why poetry is different, and then I don't have to repeat myself in all of the videos that I'm going to be posting, the little fun workshops. So poetry, often people are nervous about poetry because people think that poetry is one thing. People think that poetry has to rhyme, that poetry has to be difficult, that poetry has to have similes, poetry has to have metaphors. It can do, but it really doesn't have to. There is this misconception that poetry is just one thing. There's just one doorway into poetry. Poetry, in my opinion, is an infinite amount of different things, from the most complicated, coruscatingly beautiful poem that uses difficult words, that's difficult concepts, that's full of things, to the simplest poem that you can think of, written in an everyday voice, an ordinary everyday voice, and everything in between. So I'm going to put some little starter videos on, little writing prompts for you guys to have a go at. Poetry is the rebel of writing, I like to think of. Poetry doesn't follow all the rules of any other kind of writing. So all of the fronted adverbials, all of the spag stuff in what is, in my opinion, a very narrow writing curriculum, none of that matters when you're writing poetry. You can use capital letters, you can use punctuation if you want to do, but you don't have to. If you get hold of a poetry book, and this is back to front because my camera person has abandoned me. If you get hold of a poetry book and you flick through, you'll see that every poem on the page has a different shape. Yeah, you don't need to write all the way to the end of the lines if you don't want to do. You set the rules. You set the rules. And poetry, in my opinion, gives you the only opportunity to use your voice. You can write poems in your voice about your life, or you can write poems that you've just completely made up in your voice. Well, I mean, in your voice is the thinking voice inside your head, whether you are from Manchester or Mexico, Bolton or Bangladesh. The thinking voice inside your head is the voice you can write poems in, and you can't do that in any other kind of writing. When you're having a go at poems, having a go. This is my ideas book. I just smash ideas down when I'm writing poems without worrying about getting it right. So if you watch some of my videos, you will hear me say a lot, I'm not getting it right, I'm getting it written. And that's what you do when you're writing poems. So any of the writing prompts, videos that I put on here, you just smash your ideas down and you have a go. Poetry sometimes suffers. Poets can be a bit sniffy about poetry. Some poets seem to think funny poems aren't really poems. And it's people as well. Anything can be a poem. What is a poem? I don't know. And I think if anybody tries to tell you exactly what a poem is, I would worry about that. I like the idea that Rachel Rooney came up with, which that poetry is playing with words, playing with ideas. I love Michael Rosen. In general, I love his ideas about poetry allowing people to talk with your pen. Yeah, talking with your pen, that playground voice again, that thinking voice. You are free. There are no better words in poetry. I used to be a primary school teacher and I would be forced to try to get people to think of better words. Don't use said, can you use a better word? Man, sometimes said is the best word. So poetry just gives you that option. You don't even need to use words. You can just use sounds in poems, sounds, rhythms, It's playing with words, playing with fun, playing with ideas. And any of the starter videos that I put up here, just for you to play with. You can change anything that you want to do. You can, it's just about having fun, all right? So why is it important? Because it gives you an outlet if should you choose to, and I promise I'm not trying to turn you into a poet in these videos. It's no interest for some people, and that's absolutely fine. But should you choose to, poetry can allow you to speak about your life, about your feelings, the stuff going on inside your head, whether that's imaginary bonkers stuff or whether that's really sad, emotional stuff. Should you choose to let it, poetry can allow you to speak about yourself in your voice. The best way to find ways to write about it is to read. Read. Lots and lots of different kinds of poems. You'll find shapes of poems that you like. And when I say shape of poem, I just mean how poets set the words out on the page, the things that poets talk about. You might read something and think, I can have a go at something like that. The aim of my videos is just to give you a few different shapes that you can hang your ideas on. You can change anything you want to do after that. You can change titles, change the focus, innovate. That's what writing is about. But poetry is freedom. Poetry is the rebel of writing. You can write poems in your voice about your life.